button.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for dropping into the Ion Esports podcast outside the lanes, where we are just about to do a quick and brief discussions of our world pick'ems. Here you're going to see us pick our selections for who we think or how we think the group stages and the rest of the tournaments are going to play out, as well as why we're taking our picks. I have my main man, Ian Race Crown White, with me. Say what's up to the people, Ian.
Hi, people.
And I myself, your boy, the one and only, you know me, King Areno, King Prime, aka your boy King. Thanks for dropping in.
There was a grant I sent you. Did you get it?
I already filled it out and submitted it.
Thanks, King.
Yeah, no problem.
Hey, you can't. I'm looking out for you, homie. That 10 grand come in handy though.
It would definitely help. Primarily, I would use it for more advertising. I think we have a great community. I think if we are able to cultivate even more people here that want to be a part of the Ion Esports team, as well as support the stream at twitch.tv/call_me_king. Stream Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, primarily from 10 to 2, but feel free to drop in for that late night crew. I appreciate you. Going off of, where am I? Here. Like I said, we are doing our world's pick'ems. Here, as you can see, I have to log in. BRB.
Step one.
It's okay. I'm just hitting the little login, you know, putting in my password, you know. Stay signed in. Bada bop boom pow. Wait, no, that's not the right screen. Where's the screen at? The screen. Alright, cool. So now, call me King. We're all locked in, all ready to go.
You're ruining it for me. You see, I was just doing like the Price is Right theme just going in my head.
Gotcha. So there are chances to win blue essence and random skin shards, orange essence, Hextech chests and keys, as well as these are the summoner icons that you win the more points you score in the pick'ems. The grand final prize being able to get one of the 5 ultimate skins. Oh wait, no. Unlock all 5 ultimate skins. Holy smokes, they are really doing it big here. You can play with your friends, you can play with celebs. My man Bunny got Kobe and Nikki Taylor. These are some pretty prominent people in the League of Legends community. So make sure you do your pick'ems. We're gonna do our pick'ems right now. If you're in the stream, if you're watching, if you haven't done yours, if you have done yours, let us know. And starting with
share.
Also, and feel free to share. Take a screenshot, post it. I was gonna say, take a screenshot, post it in the Discord.
Your sheet of integrity is required. Your sheet of integrity is required.
You do have 2 days, 2 hours, and 18 minutes as of right now of me recording to lock in or switch around or rearrange the way you think. Actually, let's also take this time to discuss and talk about the groups themselves, not just the our picks, but the groups that are here at Worlds that made it to the group stage. In Group A, we have In Group A, we have Team Liquid, G2 Esports, Machi Esports, and Suning. So of course, NA representative, EU representative. Machi, I believe, is representing the LMS this season, and Suning is from the LPL. What? They're
from PCS.
Oh, they're PCS?
Yes.
Okay. What are your thoughts on the EU versus NA rivalry in this group alone?
It sucks to be NA here. G2 finally found their form, I believe, back in summer, after spending this time last year. Looking at trying to beat Doinby to bring home the cut for Europe for the second time, or the first time, as you say, in the League of Legends World's history, and they got swept. It's a Caps is back in the mid lane after spending some time at AD carry. You want to see how that dynamic plays out, especially in a group where you still have an LPL team that in the top region of the world, Sunning is the one I'm got my eye on. I'm looking at that at Machi.
I believe it's pronounced Suning, but it might be something. I think it's Suning, but I'm just helping you out with the pronunciation. I think a lot of people just don't know enough about Machi to want to put them higher than Suning, which as of right now is coming in from the current World Championship team region. The back-to-back region championships with IG winning 2 years ago and FunPlus Phoenix winning last year. So one would say that China has now become the premier region as of the last couple World Championships. With this Group A having no Korean teams, I feel, and the team from a lesser known region, I feel that a lot of people are looking at this Group A as the group of life for Team Liquid, G2, and Suning. With that being said, I believe in their current form, I might want to put G2 on top because I think G2 is in a group where they are playing against an Asian team which have traditionally been their kryptonite. G2 is like the Korean killers. G2 has the ability to shut down and stop the slower, more methodical Asian Korean teams, whereas they've shown time and time again that Chinese teams and even certain teams from the LMS actually play well against them. Looks like the winner to me for the Group A, as much as I would want to vote for NA. Yeah, I think Team Liquid still has a chance. Again, Team Liquid has to play their game. Team Liquid, when they play their slower, more planned out style, they tend to do better, as we saw in the play-ins, in the play-in stages. But as opposed to the end of the season for Team Liquid, when they were trying to play this more fast-paced team fight, hectic style, they ended up actually falling out of the tournament, not winning not being able to close out the end of the season. Whereas when you saw them go back to their more refined, kind of slower state of play, boom, they're able to turn around and actually win, go get a clean pass out of play-ins right into the groups. I put Suning over G2 and Team Liquid, though maybe just above Team Liquid. So, and that's from John Den Jen, aka Smogden. He's given us his looks at the Group A. I'm still not fully certain. Like I said, I think Suning is going to... So the way I look at it, right, is G2 may struggle with Suning, but since Team Liquid is playing very close to that older, slower Korean style, and that's where they're kind of in their pocket, they're doing really, really well, I think G2 will be able to beat Team Liquid, but Suning and Team Liquid are the two that I feel I have to pay attention to as to who's coming out of the group in second. And let's just hope G2 doesn't drop a G2 and 8 again, you know what I mean? And becomes that whole meme. I think with Caps in the mid lane, Perks in the bot lane, they're in their strongest form, everybody's in their proper position, and they're able to actually, or they should be able to perform to the levels that we've seen previously. How do you feel about the level of play from EU coming out of their end of the season, Ian? Ian?
Yeah, it's somehow either my connection is even cutting in and out.
So how do you feel?
Well, I was about to hit you with Elite Corso, not so fast, because it's the top region. Suning might be the team to beat in this. It might be the sole team to beat in this region. But again, it's like honestly, seeing how Europe has overcome. Because didn't Rogue win? Was it Rogue the winner of winner the spring split? Cause G2
Yeah,
won-
Rogue,
G2
Rogue, I believe won the spring split this earlier, but as we saw their form at the end of summer, they were very competitive, but not as dominant as they were before.
And I wonder if a lot to do with how the patch plays out, because as the earlier patches really benefited like someone my style, and now we're starting to see that we may see because patch 19 right is the world's patch, correct?
I believe so. Yes.
We might is a we that last patch and how they were transitioning the game to you want to. I really want to know more important like for those slower teams how this patch plays out. Because like right now, you still have the everybody wins in bot lane, but bot laners with the still eight mid lane, and Caps is probably the second strongest mid laner in this group. I kind of want to see what the old wolves, flash wolves used to come out because if you remember, Sword Art was on the support. We want to see what Angel does. Quite frankly, see what kind of numbers Angel puts up. Because like again, if they were the third place team out of China, you wonder how that stacks up for me.
Well, if we're looking at it just player to player, I think you're correct in pointing out that I disagree. I think Caps is the best mid laner in this group. I'm gonna say Caps is the best mid laner, then Angel, then Jensen, and Machi's mid laner is Mission. Which again, I feel bad. I wish I had done a little bit more prep on Machi myself because now I feel like one of those people who I just don't have enough. And their team literally
don't
doesn't
sleep on Mission.
Their team literally doesn't have any tenured, any legacy players. It's not one of those teams where like a good example was Supermassive. They had Cacao, they had not Sword Art, they had Snowflower and Cacao, and you're able to say, oh, he said watch some VODs from play-ins. Why
don't you go back and watch?
Machi wasn't in the play-ins.
No, they made it straight out.
Yeah, they're directly seated as the Taiwan PCS representative. So you'd have to watch their gameplay, their region gameplay.
I think that's because of the fact that what used to be the PCS region was also used to be known as the LMS region. They rebranded it to probably in conference a lot of teams Pacific, including Japan. Japan still its own wildcard region. But I think they got the pass thanks to like teams like Flash Wolf. They kept finishing well at Worlds. But I don't sleep on. But it's like I really want to see how Mission handles this.
Go ahead.
Oh, but it's small. It doesn't. What we've learned in League of Legends, it doesn't matter how small it is being competitive. If you show up and you win, it's all that matters.
Then you win.
Obvious Knox took a game off.
I was knocked out of groups in first place, and let's keep it 100. That was a Cinderella fairy tale that was fun to be a part of, fun to watch, fun to experience. What I was going to say is going back to the whole LMS region, or the formerly known as LMS region. They were often known as the Korean killer, especially players like Karsa. Who's the one mid laner that would always pop up on Fizz, and his big play, he like solar killed Faker. I'm really can't believe I'm blanking on old boy's name right now. But either way, there's no Korean.
Flash Wolves?
Yeah. There's no Korean in this group. So the Korean killers don't face off against a Korean. And the closest thing that they have would be to play against Team Liquid, which is playing a very more close to Korean style. But small regions, they're smaller meta and less adaptive to change, so they have less ability to be competitive in larger regions. I would disagree, considering what we've just seen in the playing stages. Simply,
Maple?
yes. Considering what we've seen in the playing stages, where we had, can we go back to play-ins? Let's see if I go to schedule, maybe. Where we had, oh no, I guess click worlds. There we go. Look at the major regions, such as the Mad Lions, that were able to get knocked out. We actually got through an entire playing stage where at the end of it all, you had Supermassive knocking out Mad Lions. You had LGD stumbling, and I mean full on stumbling through the best of ones, but able to win a decisive 3-0 victory in the best of 5, as well as, if you want to say, Unicorns of Love fall closer to a, as people meme, the fourth EU team. I think we've gotten to a point in League of Legends where we're able to say those smaller regions, those emerging regions, those wild card regions have leveled up. They've far and away leveled up. A lot of the Turkish league players, like from Supermassive and whatnot, are coming over and being picked up by like TSM Broken Blade, the top laners from the Turkish league. Same thing with is it Closer? I think he's a Turkish. No, Closer Turkish, or he's from the OPL. Anyway, these minor regions have leveled up in a way that they're able to actually compete. Now, maybe they might not be able to compete with your Damwons and your Jingdong Gamings.
Yeah,
but we'll get to them.
Closer was Turkish.
Yeah,
For Golden Guardians.
yeah.
You
Right?
also have another closer from that's part that you have another closer that's on that. Oh yeah, sorry.
The other closer on
yeah,
SKT, the mid laner, yeah.
He one the one in Barri was one Jones are now known as Falcon Storm.
I was
He's
gonna
in
say
Brazil.
there's a Brazilian closer. At one point, they had like 3 or 4 closers, which is interesting. So, though yes, traditionally smaller regions have struggled against the more premier regions, I think we are seeing a very big change. So that's the only reason why I don't want to be dismissive of Machi, because again, we know the LMS region to be Korea killers. You know what I mean? And now G2 is also a Korea killer. So that's what makes me worry for Team Liquid in this group, because TL is basically in a roundabout way an NA team that's playing a very Korean style, a classic Korean style, and now they have to go up against 2 teams that could, make that difficult. I think I'm gonna go Suning, G2, Machi, Team Liquid. As much as I would love to put Team Liquid higher, and I will be happy if I get upset and NA does better. But at the end of the day, for me, I think these 2 teams are just going to be far and away better than these 2. What were you gonna say, Ian?
Smartens says that only teams that you don't know C9 as Korean killers.
Because
like that.
always C9 knocking out Korean teams in the past 2 or 3 seasons at Worlds. So outside of last year, where they knocked out Afrika, which again I kind of feel was a freak of nature kind of happening, because Afrika was really was supposed to go a little bit further. C9 has always knocked out Korean teams that fall kind of in that 3rd place realm. Like they knocked out, was it KT a couple years back? Or no, it wasn't KT. They knocked out what was the team? Ian, if you would. It was probably 2000. I want to say it's a 2016 or 2017 World Championship. And I'm just blanking on which Korean teams went to Worlds that year. But yeah, C9 does have a history of beating Korean teams, but a lot of those Korean teams put themselves in a really really weird position to be knocked out in at that point. Not saying that C9 didn't deserve those victories, but Afrika just kind of like didn't show up to play that day. I said Korea were the champs. China bought Korean players, and that's why China's number one now. I would have agreed with that 4 years ago. And even in the 2018 World Championship, I would say half of a Korean team won a World Championship. But last year we saw China as a region, and the year before, China as a region overall has leveled up. China, even with teams that are full Chinese players or have one a Korean import or so, are still leveled up enough to compete with Korean teams and to compete at the world stage. So as it stands right now, if you're looking at who else? So we have like Jingdong, Lu Bao, Yago, Zoom, Kanavi. So Kanavi and I believe Loken are the Korean pieces to that team. Then you have a team like Suning, which has Sword Art from the LMS. SOFM I believe is Chinese. So there's only one imported player. The thing is, you're no longer considered an import after being in a region for 2 years. I believe they actually changed that. They upped it to like 4 or 5 years 2 years ago. So that's why, again, with a lot of these Chinese teams, you're only seeing 1 or 2 Korean players. Like the Shy has only ever played in Korea or in China. Literally, the Shy has only ever played in China. He left Korea. He was streaming in China. They picked him up. IG picked him up. He played for IG only, and he still counted as a Korean import. So, in my opinion, the Shy is of Korean nationality, but he is he's a Chinese player. He's never played anywhere else. He's never been on. I think he might have been on a practice team or something in Korea, but he's never actually played professionally in Korea. So the fact that he takes up an import spot is just on a technicality. Who else are we gonna look at? LGD. LGD has Peanut and Kramer. Everybody else is Chinese, and Top Esports I believe is Karsa. And that's scary because you have Knight, who could be the best mid laner in the world currently, with Karsa, who is literally the Korean killer. And their team got kind of rounded out with Jackie Love. Yeah, NA is known for pulling in Korean talent. EU less so, because EU has always done really well at cultivating, one, their own style, and two, even if they use Koreans to level up their region, I believe they then filter like Koreans out. Like Trick was on G2, but now G2 is all European players. Fnatic is all European players. Rogue has Hansama, but I don't think Hansama has played anywhere else but EU, if I'm correct. And who else? Oh, and then Mad Lions were all European players. So EU does it to a far lesser extent, and I believe NA is working on building up individual North American talent. But if we're gonna put a end cap to this part of Group A, for me, I'm going Suning, G2 Esports, Machi Esports, and Team Liquid. Ian, who are you gonna be going with? Ian? Oh, buddy, oh, Powell, friend of mine.
I'm here.
All right.
I should be here.
Yeah, there you go.
The thing, again, I honestly think there's some serious upset alert here. G2 is on upset alert. They may find themselves in third place.
They might.
I wouldn't sleep on Machi. Sunni may be the favorite solely because of the fact that they're in a strong region. But with this group, I wouldn't be surprised if Team Liquid finishes second. I really wouldn't be surprised. But it all depends on it. It literally depends on who can dictate whose style. And if we had more prep about it, we'll get to see really whose style is more favorable on this patch. Because again, patch 19 was weird, but we learned some things strictly that you could if you could slow the game down, you could make a lot of you could slow the game down for a team that wants to play fast and make them play slow, make them useless. But also make them team really useless if you snowball to the point that you. So again, this is all about who plays. As Suning will and G2 looking 2, Machi looking 3, and Liquid taking the quick L on the way.
All right, so how do you have this set up again? Your 1, 2, 3, 4.
I actually took the same way you did.
Okay, so you want Suning, G2, Machi, and Team Liquid?
Yes.
All
but
right.
The caveat is G2 could probably win. Like this, maybe anyone's group to win, but this is everyone's group to lose if you don't show up.
Group of life. That's part of it. Anyone can beat anyone, but not because everyone's so crazy overpowered or crazy broken as far as their skill set, but because there's so much interchangeability between the skill of each team.
Now
that's gonna wrap up Group A. If you have like I said, feel free to screenshot and put your Group A picks in the Discord. The Discord link, you will find it over in the more information tab or listed below if you're at the stream at twitch.tv/call_me_king. Again, thanks again. Please feel free to subscribe, follow, like all the social media things here at Ion Esports, and stay tuned for the next video where we'll discuss Group B.